This is a game I'm making, but I'll keep working on it later. Making like a puzzle game thing here in Unity. But I want to talk about the stop killing game stuff real quick because I want to see what I gotta check out what the lobby people said. I wanted to read that, so let's read that real quick, or let's check out what's going on. I gotta find out where that like official European lobby message came from. Oh, it's just this. Who said this? Who said this? Okay, so this is like by Carbon Video Games Europe, videogameseurope.eu. A lot of stuff happened in the last 72 hours. I guess this is like some. Is this considered like the industry, like video game industry? I just don't know who owns this website. Video Games Europe. Our commitment to transparent and fair purchases of in-game content. Is there like an about me page? About us? Players are at the heart of what we do. Okay. Membership. Do I have to pay? Our membership covers the video game publishers. That would be hilarious if you have to pay. Pay to play. Our board. Okay, I guess this is what I'm looking for. Warner Bros. Games. Oh, no. Roblox, Epic Games, EA. Okay, so this is the industry. This is smelling. It does smelling. It does smell like industry. It's a smell. All right. So let's read the statement, knowing that. Okay, the statement's over here. We appreciate the passion of our community. However, the decision to discontinue online services is multifaceted, never taken lightly, and must be an option for companies when an online experience is no longer commercially viable. Boo! Boo! That ain't it. Must be an option? I don't think it needs to be an option. Must be an option. Really. No longer commercially viable. This is what Pirate Software. This is like a Pirate Software response. Did Pirate Software write this? I'm kind of having my suspicion. I feel like it's like they didn't even read. They didn't even understand what it's about. Oh my gosh. We understand that it can be disappointing for players, but when it does happen, the industry ensures that players are given fair notice of the prospective changes in compliance with local consumer protection laws. Private servers are not always a viable alternative option for players, as the protections we put in place to secure players' data, remove illegal content, and combat unsafe community content would not exist and would leave rights holders liable. I think that also isn't true, right? Because they just have to say something like, we're not liable once we shut down the servers for what happens in the game. I mean, like, what else? Do you need more than that? Keep in mind that keep that in mind and then remember when you get to what EA just did, it's a fun ride. What did EA just do? Is that like the new stuff? I gotta look that up? What did they do? Private servers are not always a viable option. Okay, well, like, you could do other things besides a private server. You can just make the game single player or do something. I don't know. Make it LAN. local local area network. This totally sounds like Pirate Software just wrote this article. I'm just imagining replacing online game servers with toxic waste disposal. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Uh yeah, I don't not always a viable alternative option for players as the protections we put in place to secure players' data, remove illegal content, and combat unsafe community content. So like you just don't send their data players' data. You just have them make new accounts. Remove illegal content. Like if you don't own the servers anymore, it's just that's not your responsibility anymore. So you don't have to worry about the content. Combat unsafe community, dude. No, this is this is not this is not it. This is a straw man argument. Like companies should be allowed to dump toxic waste in their rivers if it's not commercially viable to dispose of it safely. Wait, what? I need to read that again. Companies should be allowed to dump toxic waste in the rivers if it's not. Are you saying like the video game is toxic? If it's wait, if it's not commercially viable to dispose of it safely. That sentence is kind of breaking my brain. Oh, okay, gotcha. I hope the law is clear enough to match the basic operability of the game before being discontinued. You'd hope the law is. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, like the first paragraph, but when it does happen, the industry ensures that players are given fair notice of their prospective changes in compliance with legal consumer protection laws. Yeah, it just sounds really weird. Like they're like dealing with toxic waste or something. It's like, dude, it's just a game. It's just the game. No one's gonna die. Oh my gosh. Okay. So maybe I should look up the EA stuff. But yeah, this is totally just really sounds like an excuse. Like a really poor excuse. And it sounds like rights holders just don't want to have to deal with supporting with the game with having to like deal with like giving away their game server or making it playable in some other way. Team Fortress 2 was handed over to the community basically. They have the source code in the repo and you can modify it. Yeah, I mean like that's one thing they can do is they can just make the code open source. And then that should be enough. Like I would say that if they made the code open source, I would say that's good enough for the community to have a way to play the game. If they, as long as they like have someone who can like figure out how to run the server. But I mean, I would say that is enough. Like that is like enough information for a company to provide. Like I think open source is probably more extreme because you're giving away all the code. You could just like make a binary of the server and then you can't really see the code unless you decompile it, which is, but like still, um, yeah. So just like make a binary of the server is another thing you could do. They have the source code and repo and you can modify it. They're implementing GitHub community fixes into the official branch. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I guess I guess Team Fortress 2 is not the companies we're mad at. So it sounds like other companies should look up to Team Fortress 2 as a model. Uh any mods or new games created using the source code must be free for everyone to download and play. Oh, I mean, I guess that's fine. I would say that's okay. I would say that's totally fine. Actually, let me update my title to talk. I'm just gonna I'm gonna do stop killing games. Uh, update because I'm no longer making the puzzle game. All right, update stream title. Cool. Any mods or new games created using source code must be free for everyone to download and play. Yeah, that sounds fine. I mean, if you start making money off the game, that's it's kind of a douche move. Maybe. Because I guess they still own the intellectual property, but they're just still letting you play the game. But at the same time, you used to be able to sell your game after you buy it. I don't know. You can require registration like Epic does for Unreal Engine, but the problem remains, at least in the EU, a minimum of 1 year of operation, like for regular products that are introduced to the market or refurbished, or 2 years like every retail product, no matter virtual or physical. Require registration for like Epic does for Unreal Engine? Are you saying players still have to register to play the game after it's discontinued? I don't think I understand that entirely. The EU wait, but the problem remains, at least the EU a minimum of 1 year of operation for the parts of the source necessary to guarantee operation. So require registration for the parts of the source to guarantee operation. So require the core code for playing the game to be registered. Do you mean upload to GitHub? Something like that? AKA the crowdsourced work over GitHub. Yeah, I don't know too much about what Epic does for Unreal Engine. I'll have to look into that. Not too sure. Not too sure about that. But yeah, this whole thing smells really bad. They could have said they could have been more offering things they could do that would allow players to keep playing their games, but they straight up just said private servers are not a viable alternative option for players. So they basically just said no. It's kind of this feels like when you send an unban request or something for a game that you got banned in. It feels and then they just send you the email. They're like, sorry, we are not able to unban you. And it's okay, but that's different because the game is this is within their private game, so they can ban people if they want to from playing online, in their online servers. But this is not that situation. This is the community saying, we want this. I don't care if you don't want us to do it. I mean, in fact, you probably don't want to do it, but but the community is saying that you're gonna have to do it if we get enough signatures and the law is passed. They're treating it like they can just like brush it off, which kind of irritates me a lot when I read this. So it's definitely not. This is definitely not like a down to earth response at all. Open source does not require public access. It can require registration. Oh, okay. That is, now I'm understanding what you're saying. That way they try to circumvent it up front. By stating we are for the community, while actually straight kill the new game on release, planned obsolescence. So they're gonna say it's open source. Does not require. Wait, open source does require. Wait. Open source. I guess. Okay, so like I guess the developer open source definition of open source means anyone can see the code and even contribute to it. And there's even like a version called closed source where you can see the code still, but you just can't make contributions to it. So I guess you're thinking of like the legal open source term, which might be like they can say they're open source, but really they still don't see, nobody can see the code and use it. Well, that sounds like, if that's true, that sounds like poop. So I hope that's not what happens. Players have a lot of investment in their TF2 inventories, and Steam Workshop contributors have created a lot of that content. The majority of items in the game now are thanks to the hard work of the TF2 community. To respect that, we're asking TF2 mod makers continue to respect that connection and to not make mods that have the purpose of trying to profit off Workshop contributors' efforts. We're hoping that many mods will continue to allow players to access their TF2 inventory. So is that like that's like the TF2's policy on making mods? So you're saying like they can't gatekeep mods that they didn't even make by making you pay for it if they like host their own server or something. It's a little similar to NFTs. I wonder how we can apply NFTs to this. Actually, you know what? This might be a great use case for NFTs because like, so like the issue, they actually brought this up in here. I read it somewhere. Where did we read it? It was about the database. I mean, the player information being sent or secured. So like secure players' data. So right here it says, so this is like, they're thinking they're going to have to give up the player data. I was thinking, don't do that because that is security concern. Players just have to make new accounts or whatever. But if we had NFT support and you had proof that you own certain items or something, then you could make a new account and then get all your items back. So that would be cool if we could do that. That might be the future. I don't know. Cause like, yeah, you can't just like, they can't give up their, the player's data, but also they don't need to give up the player's data. They just need to let us play the game with new accounts. That's fine. But yeah, dude, we finally found a use case for crypto, guys. We may have found the first useful, the first actual use case. Hasn't crypto just mainly been like a solution in search of a problem? And we found the solution. Yeah, correctly. The legal treatment of the open source licenses allow shutting it off the public. Okay, yeah. That's not good. But still, they can pretend they are forthcoming and basically establishing through the closed release registration required of the source code that the community could work out, keeping the game alive just to kick the bucket anyway if they can't crowdsource the work. So yeah, that's another thing. Like, even if they release all the code, there does need to be some work from the community to figure out how to run the server on their own. And if the company just writes, if the company's code is a bunch of spaghetti code and it's has microservices and just a bunch of hot pile of steaming poop, then it might be really hard to get the server running, which is a likely story anyway. Like, oh my gosh. Code in the gaming industry. Oh my goodness. Anyways. Yeah, I would just assume that like if the community really wanted to, they would figure out how to get it started, how to get the server started, get it going. It's open source now, so no legal implications, provided as is. Is it bad to just do it as is? Like you're saying it's bad that the company, or you're saying you don't want the company to just like release their code and then that's it? Like just like leave the scene. They're just they're like, okay, here it is, we're gone. You're saying that you want them to do more than that, I guess. If that is what you're saying, it would be nice if they like gave us instructions on what to do. I don't know. But I would be pretty satisfied with just making the code accessible to the community and yeah, I mean, like maybe basic instructions. Okay, let me see what EU did. Let me see if I can Google was it EA? Stop killing games. Let's see what's going on over there.
Okay, well, first off, I'm not a lawyer, but this guy at WBS Legal is, and he thinks Ubisoft probably broke the law when it shut down the crew, giving players only 3 months notice.
Probably
when they should have given
law.
more like 2 years. Yeah, you know, Ubisoft, one of your members. So this is probably a false statement out the gate. But
when it does happen, the industry ensures the players are given a fair notice of the prospective changes.
You know what? That's not even our issue. So I don't even care how much notice you're giving to players. What I care about is that you're not depriving them of their purchase. Private servers are not always a viable alternative option for players, as the protections we put in place to secure players' data, remove illegal content, and combat unsafe community content would not exist and would leave rights holders liable. Okay, several things here. We have to break it down. Private servers are not always a viable alternative option. So they're saying for a new game concept, which hasn't even been made yet, sometimes there is no way they can add an end-of-life plan to the design? Their programmers' fingers simply can't type that?
Can't do it. Can't do it. My fingers need rest. Oh my gosh. I feel like this guy is like super hilarious, but he doesn't even try to be funny. I don't think he's trying to be funny, but he's really funny. Why isn't it possible?
I would
Yep.
love to see them say this to a room full of developers. I think the industry would be surprised how viable it was if the law said you can't take back the limited license rights you already sold to the customer. And this next part. Yes, this part is true. Players will absolutely be getting a rougher and more wild experience playing an unsupported game. I happen to know a thing or two about that. So yes, that's the nature of anything unsupported. That's not a good excuse to destroy what people paid for. It just means they're on their own. But then they say this part. It would leave rights holders liable. Okay, I am not a lawyer, but my first impression is this strikes me as very not true. The way I read this, they're saying they are incapable of writing an end-user license agreement that absolves them of all liability on shutdown. Like planning for end of life, apparently it's just not possible. So
Yeah, I think I was thinking along the same lines as Ross. It sounds like they're just making really bad excuses about everything. Like instead of like being more on board, I think they should have been more on board. Because like now it's like the community is just like really upset, and then now they're gonna sign the thing harder. If the industry, if this website was more like, we totally get it, we understand consumers are worried that they're not going to be able to play their games anymore after we end support for the games. We're gonna do everything we can to prevent that from happening and allow you to keep playing the game. And like that might have like gave them a better outcome. But they were straight up like I was saying, like it's like a ban denial email, like an unban denial request. Like that's how it reads. It's like, man, where is the PR? Where is their PR department? I don't know. It's like, yeah, because this was really bad on their part. But anyways, I don't feel bad. You shouldn't feel bad, because they should be responsible for letting people to play the game, even if they want to discontinue the game. Yeah, if a person paid for a game and they discontinue the game, the person should still be able to play the game somehow. And that's what we're asking of industry. And we're going to try to make that into a law so that the industry won't have a choice but to provide the support that players need to play the game on their own. And they're just like, they're acting like that's not like, they're just saying like it's not an option. It's definitely going to be an option if it's the law. Like, if it's the law, now you have to. Even if you think it's not an option, you're going to have to figure it out. I see you getting that weird giggle shiver thinking about how they are wording their stuff, and that mad grin settles in. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I swear like I sent an unban request, and this is what it reminded me of, the rejection of like of the rejection email I got. Oh my gosh. It's like, do they have the same PR department across all the industry? I don't get it. The same people team. It's just like not. It's like, hey, sorry, your unban request is just not viable. We cannot unban you. I'm like, no, this is not. The thing is, there are upcoming changes, eliminations of the GDPR, which opens them a path. are there. I'm not too familiar of what the GDPR does because I'm in the US. Let me see. I just know that at work I have to kind of support it a little bit, GDPR stuff. But I don't know exactly what's going on there. Like, I know that it's like GDPR requires you to do things like delete data belonging to a certain player if the player requests it. Data deletion. So we like provide support to allow to let players delete their stuff. I don't know how that can translate to them not being able to support a game from being killed, especially because if you're not giving players data in the first place, then that means there's nothing to worry about data wise, because you could totally just give an empty database. You don't have to. You're not going to give the players data over to the community. Basically, the EU Privacy Act was broken by design, and now they want to kick it due to world what? Bro, World War III? Dude, this is crazy. Dude, I don't know if what you're saying is a conspiracy or what is going on. But I could kind of see how, like, they can bring up GDPR stuff with this. We put in place to secure players' data. But yeah, you don't have to give players' data away. You just have to let people make new accounts. Why does the page just change on me? So I'm a concept 3D artist in the industry and think the nuances of the subject would be lost on me. Would love to hear opinions from the more tech areas of game development. What are the pros and cons of the stop killing games? Intuitive. What are the intuitive pros and cons of stop killing games, in your opinion? Okay. It's going to depend entirely on how the law is implemented. If the law focuses on how single player games are affected, the crew, and how online was used as a kill switch for single player, then I think it's long overdue from a consumer rights perspective. For multiplayer, though, it's not nearly as clear how such laws could be implemented. Okay, so in the case of the crew, they think it's definitely should be some law to prevent the crew from happening. And just for background, if you don't know what happened with the crew, I believe the crew is a game made by Ubisoft, and it's either Ubisoft or EA. I'm pretty sure it's Ubisoft. But I guess the game flopped. They had to shut down the servers, and then no one could log in anymore. So that means people are just mad that they bought the game and it's useless now. But I think the game was focused. It's like focused as like a multiplayer racing game. So I don't know if the crew had like a single player mode in the game. Actually, let me ask ChatGPT. The crew have single player in the game before it got removed. Both had single player modes before server shutdowns or changes in online infrastructure. However, the games were always online, meaning that even single player content still required a connection to the game servers. Right. When Ubisoft shut down the servers for The Crew in 2024, all content, including the single player mode, became completely unplayable. This is what sparked backlash from players and became a major example used in the Stop Killing Games movement. Okay. Man, it's kind of ridiculous that, like, you couldn't even play a single player mode. Like, what is that? They sold around 12 million copies. Dang. That is a lot of probably angry people. We should have 12 million signatures. How many signatures do we have? We got 1,276,000. I feel like we should get a lot more than this. Not a hit. Like Roz was saying, like, a lot of these would get invalidated. So it's like they should probably really get like 2 million votes just to be safe or something. But where are all these people that bought The Crew? Where's that other 10 million people? Sign the EU petition. You have to, I guess they're not all in the EU. Wait a second. Does my signature count if I'm not even in the EU? I am kind of surprised. Like I thought like a lot more people would be interested in this, because I'm pretty sure there's more than like 1 million gamers. The UK has a separate one. I see. So 1 million seems kind of low. Because I would imagine like virtually every video game consumer would probably want something like this in the law. So this is like the EU one or the UK one. Oh, I didn't know there was a UK one. Prohibit publishers irrevocably disabling video games they have already sold. Created by Lewis Evans. Why is this separate from EU? I thought oh, wait. I forgot the UK is not part of the EU anymore. Damn, yeah, Brexit. Oh my gosh. Dude, I am not from Europe. I am in the US. So yeah. I support from the start, but it gained traction only like 2 months ago, maybe, and really only in the last 2 weeks. I think it only gained traction because Charlie posted a video. Pretty sure if Moist Critical didn't post that video, because I wouldn't have known about it unless Moist Critical made a video about it. And I didn't even see like the Pirate Software stuff where he's just like, oh, this is all garbage. Yeah. I've worked at Blizzard for 7 years. So there's no way they're going to make WoW a single player game. I'm like, huh? I didn't even see any of that until Moist Critical made a video about it. And I had no idea. And then like all this drama started happening, and then I think the drama was actually a good thing because it made people want to like uh it made people want to uh I mean, I don't know if it made them want to, but like, well, it kind of did. Like the drama made people want to support Stop Killing Games, but it also just gave a whole bunch of marketing to the movement for free. Yeah, yeah, I can show you. Let me see. It's kind of crazy what he said about it. Let me show you. Like if we just see like if I do like I don't know, moist, critical, stop killing games, he goes over it. And this is how I found out. There's actually a chance he won't stop killing games. He actually did a specific one on Pirate Software. Let me see. Pirate Software. Pirate Software
I
situation.
cannot believe his ego. His ego is so out of control, I feel like he's only a week or two away from exclusively referring to himself in third person, like Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin. And that's the truth, cause Pirate Software said so. Some shit like that. It's crazy how he's responded. The smugness is nails on a chalkboard. It just makes you feel icky listening to it. And he goes on that same talking point multiple times in the clip about how, like, oh, I guess I'm fully to blame. I guess because I made those videos 10 months ago, it's my fault entirely that this whole thing crashed and burned. Yep. Oh boy.
Yeah, he's kind of.
Oh shit! No, this is actually.
He
really
says
dumb.
it here. I think
it's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. No, eat my entire ass. That the level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit,
dude, he is going all out against it. Like, how is he so mad? It's like he, yeah, it's like he wants to like. It's like he's like been planning a game it's like he's making. I guess he's making a game called Heartbound. It's like he's planning to rug pull his game. And now the Stop Killing Games is going to stop him, his whole plan. Like his whole plan is foiled now. If the Stop Killing Games movement goes through.
sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then.
Oh my god.
I dropped the mask entirely.
Oh my god.
I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole.
Yeah, isn't that is crazy. That is crazy. Like you can see how he just like you can see how everyone's just making a YouTube video about it now, about his response. And in a way, it's a good thing because like millions and millions of people now want to see the drama, and then they know about Stop Killing Games. In a way, it's kind of a good thing. I don't know. It brought a whole bunch more a vision to Stop Killing Games. They released the crew in 2014. They shut down the servers for the crew in 2024, citing upcoming server infrastructure and licensing constraints. The Crew 2 was released in 2018. So it's not like it's planned obsolescence, but sucks that you can't play single player at least anymore. They've been working on making Crew 2 playable offline. So it was going for like, I guess it was like going strong for 7 years, I guess. the crew in 2024 citing upcoming server infrastructure and licensing constraints. That's so they lost the license and now they can't host. They can't. I guess. Yeah. 10 years, yeah. So I guess like licensing, I guess, is an issue, maybe. So I think the lawyers have to figure that one out. Because like I guess like you do when you a lot of games license IPs. Like for example, my company buys the Pokemon IP for Pokemon Go. And we have to keep buying it as long as we want to continue serving the game to people. So I think, yeah, there has to be some law that doesn't prevent players from playing the game, even if the original company no longer has a license to the IP. Because I don't think the original company should have to keep buying the IP, but I don't think that should stop or prevent the game from being killed. I feel like the owner of the IP just has to let people play the game still afterwards. Look at Fortnite. That would be a shit show for licensing. LOL, you just have to go back to default characters. Yeah, they just made it. Yeah, they just made everyone default characters again. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like how are I own games like that have IPs that are single player, and it's not like the original owner of the IP that lost the license to it is going to come to my house and stop me from playing the game somehow. Like they would have to take the physical copy away from me. And I don't see how they can do that, and I also don't see how that can prevent the game from being killed in like the same way. Like just because they lose the license to the IP doesn't mean the consumer has to stop playing the game. Because that's a thing between the company, two separate companies, not with the consumer. Yeah, it's a fringe case, but they again bundled it in the, what was it called, sub edition of the crew, and in Crew 2 they did exactly the same concept, aka no difference between single and multiplayer, although they knew better. They provoked thought is that they did that to kill all editions again at once. So you're saying that like they could have made the Crew 2 single player, and they could have made the single player mode not require login, but they did anyway. And they did that because they wanted the game to be killed at some point. Do I? There might be slight truth to that, but I don't think that is the entire I think companies want people to log in even for single player. A lot of the times is because some features, even on single player, require a server connection. Like a lot of games, you have your save states are saved in their database on the server. And if you want to like load in your game from a different computer, then you have to log in. That's true, Crispy. I saw someone say something similar now that you mention it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Oh, wrong. Oh, wait. Not saying it like that, but that is the underlying assumed intent, which led to the whole show. Right. Yeah. That might be part of it. I mean, like, I could see some reasons why company might want to kill the game entirely. I don't know. I don't see why they needed to kill the single player. I think what happened was like, it sounds like they have a single player mode. They have some features in single player mode that requires a server also. And then when they decided to shut down the game, they were just too lazy to allow players to play the single player mode game. Maybe not too lazy is the right word. They just didn't want to pay to support the game in offline mode when they didn't have to. And they didn't have to because the consumer, when they bought the game, they didn't buy the right to play the game. They bought more of like a privilege to play the game. So that means the company is just able to shut down the servers whenever they want to without getting in trouble. And I could definitely see why companies would want to be able to do that, because they would have to pay money to make an offline mode. But that's just not fair to the consumer at all. That's just like, that is not fair to the consumer at all. That is crazy. That is crazy to like, now that I think about it, like video games and like maybe just software in general is different than real life. In real life, you like buy something and you own it, and then that's it. But when it comes to like software and video games, you somehow can buy a bunch of stuff and still not own it. And they can just like prevent you from playing whenever they want. No one reads the EULA, but I'm sure it says in all the EULAs they can just be like, yeah, we can stop you from playing this game if we want to. And EULAs are a whole nother story though. Those are crazy. Kind of, they embedded that loophole to prevent offline mode having an excuse. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Single player games requiring online is a horrible trend. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's like people, I don't know, yeah, like it's cool to load in save states from different computers, but really, like, you could just save that in a file to make it offline. Like in all the games in history, a save state is just a file on the computer that you can just load in and it's all offline. And then at some point, someone was like, well, what about logging in? There's more stuff to it. To the GDPR was updated in 2018, which actually prevented the use of outsourcing ad partnership DLC over Web3. NFTs, which holds partners back. Man, all I'm saying is, dude, NFTs for ownership of items in the game or progress or something. I feel like we could be onto something with this. And that would the NFTs would help you circumvent all the GDPR issues with a company having to give up player data, because instead of giving up the player data, you can make a new account, but you can get your items back if you have the NFTs, saying you own the items. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that Pirate Software
Whole
is
thing. That sounds stupid as
really
shit.
mad.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Ross and his community that are actually the assholes here. Brother, come on, you can't possibly be calling the wambulance with a side of French fries here about people being mean to you when
French
you
fries.
are literally the one that started the shit flinging and name calling. And by the way, Ross never even addressed this for 10 months because he didn't want to dilute the initiative into just having it be boiled down to drama between creators, which I think was actually very big of him. The only reason he's talking about it now is because it's at the end of its life and so many people still don't understand it because of someone like Pirate Software misrepresenting it. So he's finally setting the record straight there. Anyway, he did delete that tweet, but just a little while ago, he made a new tweet.
Oh my gosh. And just on Pirate Software specifically, it's in all his apologies, it sounds like not an apology. Because every time, the same thing happened with the WoW drama that he was in, where he was his apology was he would say yeah, I apologize already. What do you want from me? And it's no, you didn't apologize. You said, I'm sorry. And then you said, but given the situation, blah, 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 I feel like we are all responsible, blah, 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 blah. I feel like everyone should be held accountable, blah, blah, blah. It's bro, that's not an apology. That's you pretending you're apologizing, but really just giving a bunch of excuses. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. An apology has to end in I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't know. He has this really bad habit, Pirate Software. I mean, he has this really bad habit of just doubling down on bad ideas. Instead of admitting he's wrong is not an option. He has to double down or even triple down. And I think deep down he knows he's wrong. But he just can't admit that he was wrong about anything. And so he would just rather double down on a bad idea. And he did that with WoW. He's doing it again with Stop Killing Games. He did it with the Ashes of Creation drama where he was in a raid in Ashes of Creations, and then he got mad at someone for pulling a mob that wiped the team. He was like, oh, whoever pulled this mob deserve to get kicked from the group. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. And then they like see the replay, and then like he was the one who pulled them off. And he was still like, no, it's not my fault. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, are you? What are we even doing now? Right now, it's like I can't. I almost want to feel like it's like he's like joking, like he's doing it because it's funny, but like that's what I would. That's like I can't believe like someone would be that way. It's crazy. Oh my gosh, it's just crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap up the stream. I gotta go to work tomorrow. I gotta do some Java programming for work to make sure Pokemon Go keeps going. So how about we rate somebody? Shall we, my friends?